This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLesio and Kenny Bergamy.
Welcome, come on in. Our first official new show of 2021. Last week, we brought you the best of YouTube 2020. Well, no more mention of 2020. We have moved on. Yes, new outlook as well as a whole bunch of news stories, including these.
Yeah, coming up. More than a dozen years in the making, breeders at UGA released 3 new varieties of wheat. Damon Jones on why the process was a lengthy one. Also on the program, for this Washington County beef cattle producer, sustainability also means transparency and accessibility. Hear what happened when he opened up his farm to complete strangers.
Plus, this Newton County teenager not only raised awareness for special needs students, she also helped raise a lot of money in the process, and it all went towards a one-of-a-kind livestock show. These stories and so much more start right now on the Farm Monitor. So what will the world look like a decade from now? That is the first question wheat breeders at the University of Georgia must ask themselves when starting any new variety trial. Damon Jones takes a look at the long path from research plot to the marketplace and tells you why so few make it to the final cut.
While rows and rows of golden wheat might be a picture reserved for the Midwest, there's typically around 200,000 acres planted right here in the state every year. With the unique climate and soil conditions of the Southeast, it's imperative to have a world-class breeding program right in your backyard.
The purpose is to develop varieties that are well adapted to Georgia and the Southeast region. These varieties should be very high productive varieties compared to what we have now. At least they have to be equal or better than them for yield. You know, we don't want to have tall variety which they fall down. We don't want to have a very short variety because in dry years it will be short. You cannot even use machinery.
Overall yield is just one consideration that goes into each variety, as getting the plant safely to harvest is of equal importance.
We have a disease called scab or fusarium head blight, which is really a very complex disease and it's a challenge. So since the last 10 years, we have been working to develop varieties that are resistant to this disease, among other like leaf rust, stem rust, stripe rust, and also insect.
That decade of research and development came to fruition late in 2020 with 3 new releases. However, with that much time and effort put into each one, plenty of commitment and forethought were required.
You have to have a vision what's going to be the situation of wheat in 10 years, what's going to be the market, the export market, the industry, wheat industry, milling, baking, what consumers want in 10 years. I mean, we like bread and so on, but in 10 years, maybe a different product which requires different quality.
In that long time period, there is plenty of trial and error, as a staggeringly small percentage of the tested varieties actually make it into the fields.
Each year we are growing about more than 60,000 different genotypes. So among these, we hope after 7 to 10 years, we can find 1 or 2 or 3 like this year. Sometimes we are lucky, we have 3 or 4, but sometimes we have 0. I mean, some years we don't release.
That type of scrutiny has to be comforting for the growers, as they are assured a quality product. However, it wouldn't be possible without all the advancements in technology and procedures.
I can just take DNA from a leaf at early stage, send it to the lab, and they will tell me the gene is there or not. And that's really a very powerful tool that helps breeders to be efficient and reduce time.
Reporting from Athens, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Despite what people may think, sustainability is a word that those in agriculture take very seriously because, let's face it, without it, farming wouldn't exist. That's certainly the case in the beef industry as producers work towards being as sustainable as possible in order to keep the farm alive for future generations. John Holcomb has more.
In the past few years, the word sustainability has been used a lot as people push for a more environmentally friendly world. For the cattle industry, however, sustainability is nothing new. In fact, it's something cattle producers have been practicing since cattle farming was started, as they work to make the land better than how they found it, to be able to keep farming it for years to come.
A lot of people set out to run a farm in what I consider a sustainable way. They want the farm to last. They want it to be something they pass on to their children later in life. They want it to be productive at the same time. We even lean a step further into what we and people have started to call regenerative agriculture, and where we're improving the land and we're building really good topsoil, and we leave behind a more productive farm for our kids than what we started with.
Kramer believes the way to do that is by being a good steward of the land, which for him means not overgrazing cattle on a piece of land until it damages it.
If you're overusing the land, you're going to see it in 3 years. That's not going to last very long. You're going to have weed infestation. Your cattle are going to start to get skinny and die. It's just not sustainable. Most farmers don't strive for that.
In today's society, more and more people are starting to pay attention to where their food comes from and how it's raised, which Kramer says is all the more reason to strive for sustainability on the farm.
We're already seeing that people are becoming a lot more interested in where their food comes from. And I get a ton of farm visits from even as far as Atlanta, which is 2.5 hours away. And they bring their whole family, and we walk them around out here. We let them see the chickens and how the chickens are raised, and they see the beef and how the beef is moved around. And in the beginning, we thought that might be a negative thing, that once they develop a sense of what's happening on a farm, then they become vegetarians even. But it's doing the opposite in our opinion. They appreciate that the animals live a really nice life, and they appreciate the effort we put into doing all this. So I think the public is already educating themselves on all this, and they're developing their own opinions of what they see.
For Kramer and producers all over the country, working towards sustainable farming operations isn't going to happen overnight. It comes with new research and technology, and being willing to adapt if something doesn't work out.
It's one of those things that my wife put best. If you'll get out there and do something, you'll learn if it works or not, or what works best with it versus others, and you can modify it. You don't have to stick to it.
Reporting in Washington County for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
In other ag news, turns out the recently signed coronavirus aid package also includes important benefits for American farmers and some key changes to the Paycheck Protection Program. According to Pat Wolf, Senior Director of Congressional Relations with American Farm Bureau, when Congress passed the program, they were very clear that loan amounts would not be taxable. However, Wolf explains how the Treasury Department took an unfortunately different position.
They were going to deny tax deductions for expenses made with those loans. And so in effect, they were canceling out Congress's intent to provide those loans tax-free. And that is one thing that got fixed. The COVID relief bill did one other thing that will be helpful to farmers, and that is it expanded the things that PPP loans can be used for. The bill added personal protective devices. So now when a farm employer has to buy special gear or make accommodations for his workers to stay safe, you can use PPP loans for that and have the repayment forgiven.
Well, in case you missed it, December 17th, special day for former U.S. Senator Johnny Isakson. During a private ceremony at his Atlanta office, Isakson was presented the 2020 Georgia Farm Bureau Commodity Award, given annually to an individual who has supported and promoted Georgia agriculture. Georgia Farm Bureau President Tom McCall saying, quote, Georgia's farmers received strong support from Senator Johnny Isakson throughout his time in public service. No person is more deserving of this award. It's truly our pleasure to honor Senator Isakson with the Georgia Farm Bureau Commodity Award, end quote. Isakson served in the Georgia House, Georgia Senate, U.S. House, and U.S. Senate during a political career that dated from 1976 to December 2019, when he retired from the U.S. Senate due to his health. Well, her story is so incredible, even a popular worldwide magazine picked it up. The special livestock show this Newton County FFA team created, and who it was for, when the Farm Monitor continues. Well, you know you're special when People magazine picks up your story. Not only is Newton College and Career Academy senior Meredith McCrory special, but it's her work with special needs children and the livestock show she created that captured the hearts and attention of both People magazine as well as us here at the Farm Monitor. Christmas week 2020. While her peers are off doing what teenagers do during school breaks, Meredith McCrory is spending her time in a cold, wet barn, taking care of the animals who have provided so much joy for a unique group of individuals. Her passion for the animals? Evident. Her passion for children with special needs? Even bigger.
I think my passion kind of started in 8th grade when I would come in. My sister showed pigs, and I'd come in and help her, and then it turned into me taking an ag class freshman year. And I think my passion truly started is when I was in that class freshman year with all the kids and the students with disabilities, and seeing that their passion for agriculture made me want to dig deeper into ag and to start something for these kids, and that's just something that really inspired me to keep wanting to do this for them.
Meredith's just genuine, you know. She's a student that really her actions come from her heart, and that's evident in her everyday life. You know, Meredith is an officer on our FFA chapter, and I love Meredith's project because it's truly something that has inspired her. Like, she's taken it to another level, and then in return she's inspired other students, other FFA members, and an FFA chapter with a lot of inspired students is, you know, an easy FFA chapter to lead.
An inspiring SAE project that resulted in an overwhelming amount of support from the community, including donations, sponsorships, and people volunteering their time. And after 2 events, Unique Kids Showing Pigs is here to stay and will only get bigger, according to Meredith. Year 1 featured approximately 9 children. In year 2, that number grew to nearly 30.
It was honestly just so crazy because the first show, it seemed like it was like a year and a half in planning. It was just one of those things that you just get so excited for. You're like, is it ever gonna happen? And then the day of the show, it didn't really sink in until I was out there with the kids handing out their medals, and just nothing can beat just being able to hand those kids the medals that day. And it was just truly rewarding to know that everyone in the community came together to help these kids out, to really show them that agriculture is more than being in the classroom, and that there's an opportunity for them everywhere to be an ag.
It's been really rewarding as a teacher to watch her go to different community events and spread the word about the show and recruit people to come in and help. And she is so humble. She doesn't talk about that. They've also raised over $7,000 to go into the show, where it didn't have any cost for these families, and having the community supporters. And the first year that she had this show, it was standing room only. We had that many people come out to it and see it and support her. And I think that's been probably the most rewarding part for me as a teacher.
You know, you had families that were just ecstatic that their child was able to participate in this. The children themselves were, you know, it was a fantastic day for them as well. And it was just an overall great event.
A lot of tears from the parents?
Oh yeah, definitely, and from us. You know, I mean, like, it's silly to sound like that, but I mean, it was a cool opportunity. And while it's great, you know, this livestock show is certainly a great thing. I think it's going to be a stepping stone to just what it's truly all about, is more inclusion. You know, I think that we're not far away from more of those students that are participating in this one-time event to potentially showing an animal the entire season.
Yeah, that would be something, wouldn't it? Hey, don't forget, if you missed any part of this story or others on today's program, you can still see them in their entirety at our YouTube channel. All kinds of interesting features on there, and best of all, the archive goes all the way back to 2009.
And while you're there, keep clicking and like the Farm Monitor Facebook page. Also, if you have a story idea or if you just want to leave us a comment or suggestion, send us a message either on Facebook or at the address that is on your screen, that is news@farm-monitor.com. Well, without a doubt, the nation's dairy farmers have been through an emotional roller coaster the past several years. Up next, how the industry battled through 2020's year of challenges.
Despite all the uncertainty and price volatility, there have been a few bright spots when it comes to the overall dairy economy. Mark Stevenson, Director of Dairy Policy Analysis with the University of Wisconsin.
Demand, I think, has held up better than most of us expected as we headed into this. It looked like a real collapse. That didn't happen. We found new segments, new places, new ways. Retail, for example, was just much bigger than people expected. So as we moved product around to different properties, we did manage to move a lot of milk and dairy product, and we still are.
Stevenson says that milk and dairy product retail sales are up anywhere from 15 to 30%. However, that increase was not enough to offset the sudden drop in food service and restaurant demand. Processors making products bound for those markets were hit the hardest.
It's been a winners and losers kind of marketplace, and it's not because of design or properties. It's just because of random luck of who you were selling product to. We're struggling right now with a whole lot of things. We're struggling with trying to get our lives back to some kind of level of normal, when that includes schools as well as restaurants partially opening or not. We aren't really sure where things are going to settle. I think it's going to be, on average, the best year that we've had in the last 6, particularly if you include government payments, the CFAP payments. But needless to say, the milk check isn't delivering everything that farms want and need yet.
No matter the time in history, a truth remains. The registered Holstein cow continues to be a great contributor to feeding the world and keeping dairy farmers in business.
The registered Holstein dairy cow impact can hardly be understated. We've got much more that we'll be looking at, I think, for and asking out of breeds of dairy cattle. So this is a breed that's shown some adaptability and I think ability to conform to new and changing standards, or desirability of standards over time. I have no doubt that they'll be able to continue to do that.
For Holstein Association USA, I'm Miles Ramsey.
Well, finally this week, the Georgia Ports Authority, a place where products from around the globe are shipped and received in massive quantities on a daily basis. It's a place that's charting the course to the future. In this special feature produced by GPA, we learn about the Youth Learning Equipment Safety Program, also known as YES. This program provides an alternative for graduating high school seniors who are ready to start a career right out of the gate.
First and foremost, we are so excited about the YES program, and we are just so proud of the tremendous success we've had with it. We went from classroom to out here with one of our biggest cranes, and it's just been a fantastic opportunity for these students. We cannot thank Dr. Ann Levitt and her team enough for helping us through this program for the last 2 years. She has been a tremendous help in finding the students for us to learn and grow and bring out here to the port. So we've been really excited, and we can't thank her enough. The 2 graduating classes we've had, we started off with 6 YES students, and we went and had another 8 last year, and these students are absolutely amazing. They are already cut loose as equipment operators, and now we have a fantastic student, Jamel, who is going to be a ship-to-shore crane operator and one of these crane operators, so we're really excited about that. It is extremely rare with someone at his age to already be training in one of these humongous cranes. We're very excited about this. I mean, pumped up. Now to hear more about the YES program, I'm going to kick it off to Tanya Chisholm, our Manager of Training and Development.
The YES program was developed to define and train and retain students to be top performing employees with the Georgia Ports Authority. The students are brought on board, they're training for 1 year, they are put with a mentor, which is an experienced GPA employee that's going to train them how to operate all of the equipment that the Georgia Ports Authority has, including jockey trucks and RTG, which is the rubber tire gantries cranes. The program also consists of hands-on and classroom training. The students are learning from the best in the business. Our employees take great pride in training these students when they come on board to learn the equipment, how to do it and operate it safely and productively all at the same time. This is a paid opportunity for these students. It is not an internship. These students are actually employees with the Georgia Ports Authority. They're getting paid as they go through the training program. Once the training program is complete, they will then be promoted to equipment operator, making that equipment operator's salary.
I wanted to be a ship-to-shore crane when I first seen the port, and I seen these big old river cranes. I first heard about the program through the Georgia Port Authority, the human resource. It prepared me for a career coming straight out of high school with not really much experience of just jumping right into a career job. The best thing that helped me through this program is being accessible to HR, our mentors showing us the ropes of Georgia Port and how everything operates. It also taught me just to be myself, be safe, take my time, and just to communicate efficiently and on a professional level, just learning the different tasks every day. The YES program just allowed me just to invest in my future where I can retire at a good age once I get there, and also allow me just to have a great life.
Incredible young man, isn't he? Hey, thanks so much for making this show possible.
Before we send you on your way, a friendly reminder that for all the latest ag info regarding food, incredible recipes, and what's happening on Georgia farms, be sure you check out our social media platforms, including farm-monitor.com. You'll stay informed and see what's up in the world of farming and with us here on the show. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week on the Farm Monitor.
Have a great week.